Welcome back. If you're a focused learner looking to finally turn that dream of relocating down under into a reality, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're bringing you a comprehensive explainer that demystifies the highly complex and, honestly, often misunderstood immigration systems of Australia and New Zealand. We're going to break down the data, the rules, and the actual relocation pathways based on the absolute latest insights from Abroadscope's migration experts. Okay, let's dive right into this because this is the single most common myth we need to bust right out of the gate. Do you actually need a job offer to move down under? Well, if you ask around, you'll probably get a dozen different answers. And you know why? Because the real answer completely depends on which side of the Tasman Sea you're actually planning to land on. So, to clear up all that confusion, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, securing your Australasian future. Second, Australia's points game. Third, New Zealand's employer path. Fourth, comparing destinations. And finally, our 4-step relocation methodology. All right, Section 1, securing your Australasian future. Let's get into it. Now, while these two incredible destinations are close geographic neighbors, their immigration engines run on completely different types of fuel. Finding your fastest, most secure route to permanent residency, it isn't about just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. It requires treating each country's unique set of rules with a single standard of excellence. You literally can't just wing it. You need a compliant, highly competitive, and flawless application, regardless of which border you're trying to cross. Moving right along to Section 2, Australia, the points game. Let's take a really close look at Australia's highly competitive, almost exam-like immigration environment. So, the crucial point here is this. Australia doesn't necessarily require a job offer for its highly skilled professional visas. Instead, they operate on a system called SkillSelect. This is a rigorous, points-based arena. Your success here doesn't depend on who you know, it hinges entirely on objective metrics. We're talking your age, your English proficiency, and most importantly, passing a very strict ANZSCO skills assessment to prove you are exactly who you say you are on paper. Now, if you can conquer that assessment, you suddenly open the door to Australia's primary pathways. You've got the Subclass 189, which is completely independent, the Subclass 190, which relies on state nomination, and the Subclass 482 for employer sponsorship. The core strategy for Australia is pretty straightforward, but it's demanding. You absolutely have to maximize your expression of interest, or EOI points, and target state sponsorships to secure that golden invitation to apply. But here's where we hit a massive fork in the road. With Australia, we have this rigid, mathematically driven point system and state nominations. But with New Zealand, we have a completely different mandate. It's all about securing a job token from an accredited employer. It's literally the difference between studying for a massive standardized test versus going out and aggressively networking for a job. Which brings us to Section 3, New Zealand Employer-Driven Path. Over here, the system functions way more like a strategic career hunt than a competitive exam. If you're looking at New Zealand, this is what you need to focus on, the golden ticket. Because unlike Australia, moving to New Zealand almost always requires a valid job offer to unlock your fastest route to residency. And not just any job offer, by the way. It must be from an accredited New Zealand employer. Once you actually have that job offer in hand, the pathways open up beautifully. You might qualify for the Green List, which is an incredible straight-to-residence pathway for high-demand roles. Or you might use the 6-point system under the skilled migrant category, or even the standard accredited employer work visa. But remember, the overarching strategy here isn't about racking up abstract points. It's about actively aligning your CV to the New Zealand market to secure that vital job offer.
All right, Section 4, comparing the two destinations.
So, we have two very different rulebooks. Let's put them head-to-head and see which game you're actually qualified to play. Look at this number, 45. This is a hard truth for a lot of hopeful expats. For Australia's points-based skilled migration, like those 189 or 190 visas we talked about, you must generally be under 45 years of age when you are invited to apply. It's a strict cutoff, and it instantly disqualifies a large pool of highly experienced professionals. But then we look at New Zealand, 55. For New Zealand's skilled migrant category, you can apply right up until your 56th birthday. Guys, that is a massive, surprising 10-year gap. Think about it. If you're 47 years old with incredible skills, Australia might just close its doors to you independently. But New Zealand? They roll out the welcome mat. Your age alone might completely dictate your destination.
And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast. When we put them side by side, the differences are stark. Australia is driven by points, New Zealand by the job offer. Processing speed for Australia depends heavily on when those invitation rounds happen. You could be waiting in the pool for months. But New Zealand, if you have a job offer on the green list, processing is remarkably fast. And your preparation has to reflect this. Australia requires you to focus on surviving that ANZSCO skills assessment, while New Zealand requires a market-ready CV and aggressive networking.
Now let's look at Section 5, the 4-step relocation methodology. Knowing the differences is only half the battle, right? Here is the unifying solution, the precise roadmap used by experts to conquer either of these systems, from that initial strategy all the way to a soft landing. Step 1 is the dual assessment. Step 2 is getting market ready. Step 3 is the actual visa execution. And Step 4 is handling the relocation logistics, like flights and housing. I really want to highlight Step 1 here because it answers a question we hear literally all the time. Can I apply for both? Yes, you absolutely can. And honestly, you should start with a dual assessment. By auditing your credentials against both Australian and New Zealand criteria simultaneously, you find your highest probability of success. It is the most strategic and cost-effective path, ensuring you don't waste time or money on a route that's mathematically impossible for your specific profile. Then, once you're market ready, you hit Step 3, execution. Whether you're submitting flawlessly through Australia's IMI account portal or New Zealand's RealMe system, the methodology remains exactly the same. It requires meticulous government liaison and expertly handling any requests for information, or RFIs. The digital platform changes, sure, but the standard of excellence definitely does not. Which brings us to the core takeaway of today's explainer. Stop guessing, start planning. Just hoping for the best, that isn't an immigration strategy. Professional preparation, deep market readiness, and knowing exactly which set of rules applies to your unique profile, that is what actually gets you across the border. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on today. After seeing how vastly different these two engines run, which destination actually aligns with your profile? Are you built to win Australia's points game, or are you ready to hunt down New Zealand's golden ticket? It's time to evaluate your eligibility, stop guessing, and start planning your move down under. Until next time, keep learning, keep planning, and we'll see you in the next explainer.